AJ's coming back. AJ's coming back. Let's go. AJ's coming back. I'm gonna need you to relax. It says that there's a possibility that he could come back. Emphasis on the possibility, heavy on the could. Well, dang. Those are two uncertainties. Could, possibly. But anyway, I understand the excitement because Anthony Joshua, aka AJ, is one of the biggest stars that we have in boxing, and he's a top boxer.
Is he though?
I mean, well, yeah, he absolutely actually is, right? I mean, he has a decorated part down. He's a gold medalist and a former unified champion. So the accolades and accomplishments checked. And then not to mention, he's on the cover of all types of magazines, including GQ. So he has the marketability checked too. So he's absolutely one of the top fighters, whether you like him or not. We can't take away things away from people, right? However, I will still say that, you know, if you watch the entire interview, which, you know, we did, because that's what we do over here, you know, then you would know that he may be coming back, but you could also be disappointed on who he would be fighting. Check out what Eddie Hearn had to say about who he's not fighting.
Look, the first fight back is not going to be Fury, Usyk, Dubois, Parker, Moses.
Damn. I'm sorry.
Oh, but don't trip. The intrigue builds even further once you continue in the video, because Eddie Hearn lets us know who that opposition in the future could possibly be. You see how I emphasize the could and the possibility, stressing the uncertainties like the Ring magazine did, all for the purposes of this video.
Hello guys, this is Rolly Romero.
Yo, my name is Nonito Donaire. What's up guys, Designer's Eyes.
We're here with Bob Santos Boxing.
And I rock with Dr. Boxing Talk.
I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk.
And I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk. Thank you for all the love, thank you for all the support.
You're rocking with Dr. Boxing Talk. Get your daily news from my man right here, the best in the business. Let's get it, baby.
All day, baby.
Amen.
Bam!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you'll say I'm boasting. If I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? Welcome back to your favorite boxing news channel, Dr. Boxing Talk, and we are back for another YouTube video. Banger, man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I know what time it is. A doctor's in the house, man. So check this out. Before we get to it, let's go ahead and smack that like button. Let's do it together. Appreciate you. That helps us keep going and growing on this YouTube platform. BTF, rise up. Boxing Talk family, we are here to talk about, you know, one of the biggest stars in all the boxes, particularly in the heavyweight division. That would be England's own, by way of Nigeria, Anthony Joshua, aka AJ, man. And he's been in training camp, according to his promoter and likely best friend.
No, did he?
Eddie Hearn, right? So, you know, Eddie Hearn said that he's traveled down to Dubai to visit, you know, some people, including AJ, during his training camp and stuff like that. He said that AJ's looking good, coming off of some injuries being healed, you know, and so those are all good news, and we could potentially see him soon back in the ring, right? Back in that square circle. And Eddie Hearn even saying that there's a possibility that he could be in there by the end of 2025. But he did say it's a possibility. Most likely we'll see him in 2026. But that has people excited, naturally so, because AJ is a big star. That being a big star doesn't mean that you're the best. Let's not conflate the two, right? Because the best in the heavyweight division is Alexander Usyk, you know, and the best in all the boxing is between Terrence Crawford and Alexander Usyk and Naya Inoue and some others, right? But Anthony Joshua is very accomplished. I think that when a fighter loses, we tend to strip them of sometimes their dignity. You try to, so that's why you got to be a strong person. But people they just go overboard, man. They strip them of their accomplishments. They strip them of everything that they earned and everything that they did and the hard work that they put into the sport. AJ is a former Olympian, a gold medalist, and a unified champion. You know how many fighters that participate in the sport of boxing that we are supposed to love that don't make it to those heights? So shout out to him. And then he's also the highest revenue generator. And if you don't believe me, then think about why Jake Paul would want to fight him. Obviously, Jake Paul, shout out to him for whatever if you like what he's doing for boxing, that's up to you. That's debatable. But he's good for the promotion of the sport. And he targets guys that are going to be impactful in the revenue generation aspect of the sport, right? You know, to emphasize the prize of prize fighting and what's going to bring the most eyes to the sport. So if he targets you as an opponent, we know that he's not really trying to fight serious top contenders unless that comes with a serious bag and paper along with it, right? So he targeted Canelo. That fell through. Where did he target next? He targeted Anthony Joshua. And after that fell through, who did he go to? Gervonta Tank Davis. That's not coincidental. So unless you're living under a rock and you want to pretend like you're oblivious to it, that's on you. Or maybe you really are. That's your own naivete. But the fact is that those three guys are the biggest revenue generators in the sport. And rightfully so. I'm not saying that they're the best, but they definitely have put in the work and they definitely are exciting to watch, winning or losing, and they definitely earn their position. And Anthony Joshua, yes, he's coming off of a brutal loss, devastating loss to Daniel Dynamite Dubois, which he dropped a bomb on him. But Anthony Joshua is still, you know, I still think he's a formidable opponent, you know, and I am interested to see who he's coming back to fight. But like I showed you in the intro, Eddie Hearn said this about who he won't be fighting.
Look, the first fight back is not going to be Fury, Usyk, Dubois, Parker, Moses.
So I know that leaves you like, dang, well, if he's not fighting any of those guys, then who's he gonna fight? He's not, you know, you could go ahead and wipe out Usyk out of there. You could wipe out Tyson Fury. You could probably wipe, he didn't say Wilder by name, but I'm assuming Wilder wouldn't be the first fight back either. Kabayel, Moses Atama, all these other top guys. But I know some people might have an issue with that, but I don't have an issue with that. Like I said, he just came off of being knocked out, stopped in brutal fashion by Daniel Dubois. What's wrong with getting a tuna fight? There's some guys that we watch and we consider that they're a top fighter. We consider them to be top fighters, and we allow them to fight subpar, mediocre level opponents, pedestrian level opponents all the time, and we don't say anything. That's when we pick and choose who could fight who. You know what I'm saying? So Anthony Joshua coming off a knockout loss, I think it's not only beneficial for him, but I think it's also appropriate in the sport of boxing for him to get a quote unquote light touch. That doesn't mean that it won't be interesting. It'll just be that it's a lighter touch, as somebody that we may or may not be familiar with, you know, and I think that's proper, because as soon as he does that, and if he looks good, then we could go on and talk about potentially Tyson Fury if he comes out of retirement, or Deontay Wilder if he looks good in his next fight, you know, or stuff like that. So I don't have an issue with it at all, man. Now with Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul next.
Listen, we're always open to fighting Jake Paul, because of course it's an easy night's work for a lot of money.
If you in that interview, Eddie Hearn also said that, hey man, you know, we're not going to wait on Jake Paul's fight with Gervonta, because if Gervonta beats him or makes him look bad, then we won't entertain the Jake Paul fight. And that makes sense, because if he can't beat a 135 pounder in Gervonta Tank Davis, who's all about 5'4", how would he fight a guy that's 6'5" in AJ? You know what I'm saying? So over 200 plus pounds, a heavyweight champion. So it just wouldn't make sense. You know, I don't think the believability will be there and the intrigue will be there as well. So if that fight doesn't go in Jake Paul's favor, then, you know, naturally Anthony Joshua wouldn't even entertain it, because it wouldn't make sense for the people, I don't think, at least. But we see some crazier stuff before, you know. People thought that Manny Pacquiao and Miguel Cotto and Zab Judah and Sugar Shane Mosley, all of them, they wouldn't beat Floyd Mayweather, but we thought Conor McGregor would.
You dumbass.
And when I say we, I don't mean all of us, I mean you. Yeah, but anyway, so people are crazy, so you never know how it goes. But who do I think that Anthony Joshua will come back and fight? I'm not really sure, man. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's somebody like, give me a heavy, Brandon Moore. You know, Brandon Moore has actually just called out AJ. He just won. And shout out to Brandon Moore. He's from Florida, just like me, man. Shout out to him. I respect him. He's doing good since losing to Richard Torres Jr., but I don't think that he would do much against AJ, just for the lack of experience. You know, AJ's been in there with top guys. I think that'd be too much to overwhelm Brandon Moore. So I think that's actually a pretty good fight. You know what I'm saying? And then Brandon Moore will get what he wants too. So I'm rooting for him to get that fight, but I'm not sure that he wins. I would definitely lean heavily towards AJ winning that fight, but I think it'll be someone of that skill level that AJ will come back against. You know, I don't think it will be somebody like a F.A. Jagba or like I said, a Kabayel or Itam or Bacoli or Joseph Parker, nothing like that, you know. And plus, he already beat Joseph Parker anyway. But you get what I'm saying. So I think it would be like a guy like, maybe like somebody that you may have heard of, may not have heard of, like a Brandon Moore, or I'm trying to think somebody else. Give me somebody else, like somebody that Moses Thomas just fought, Dempsey McKean or somebody like that, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Do you actually think AJ is going to come back in the imminent future, like this year in 2025? I don't. I think it'll be in 2026, no matter how it goes, because I think that him fighting this year, I mean, we're in September already. Sorry, we're about to be in October. It's just not too many months left. You know what I'm saying? So I think at the top of the year, we'll probably come back against a guy that's somewhat you're maybe familiar with, maybe top 15 guy, something like that, but nobody that has like a big following like a Usyk or a Caballero or a Wilder or a Tom or somebody like that, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Don't forget to smack that like button, but most importantly, remember, with God we can do anything. Without God we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.